The swap for Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis is one of the most shocking trades in NBA history to date. And after that, it took some time for Luka to find his groove here in Los Angeles and be ready to talk about what happened.
He didn't hold a press conference. He didn't post a goodbye. Just one text and Luka Doncic was gone. But what happened behind the scenes after the NBA's most shocking trade left the Mavericks in ruins? And why does his silence speak louder than any headline? In February 2025, the NBA was hit with a shockwave that no one saw coming. Luka Doncic, the face of the Dallas Mavericks and arguably one of the top 5 players in the league, was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. It wasn't just a major move, it was historic. This marked the first time 2 reigning All-NBA players had been swapped mid-season. The Mavericks received Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick, while the Lakers added Doncic to their already star-studded lineup. Jason Kidd, the Mavericks head coach, revealed in a candid interview that he only learned of the trade an hour before it was announced publicly. His last communication with Doncic was a single text message sent the morning of the deal. He never got a reply. "I don't think he was too happy," Kidd admitted, acknowledging the emotional whiplash the young star must have felt. For someone who had poured his heart into Dallas, the trade hit hard.
I texted him on that morning, and that's the last time I've talked to him.
How did he respond to your text?
I don't think he was too happy.
Fans were devastated. Luka wasn't just a franchise player, he was supposed to be the next Dirk Nowitzki, a loyal cornerstone for years to come. The abruptness of the trade and the silence surrounding it before the announcement only fueled the outrage. Questions swirled about what led to this decision and whether internal tensions or long-term vision shifts in the Mavericks front office played a part. Dallas, now left with a reshuffled roster, hoped the inclusion of Anthony Davis would keep them afloat. But the basketball gods had other plans. Davis strained his left adductor during his first game. Then, Kyrie Irving tore his ACL. P.J. Washington, Derek Lively, and Daniel Gafford all found themselves on the injured list as well. The team, once brimming with playoff ambitions, spiraled into chaos. The trade that was supposed to save the season ended up burying it. Yet, in the middle of the wreckage, a miracle happened. With only a 1.8% chance of winning, the Mavericks secured the top pick in the 2025 NBA Draft Lottery. Suddenly, Duke phenom Cooper Flagg was within reach. For a team desperate to mend its image and revive hope among fans, this was the lifeline they needed. It wasn't just about a fresh start, it was a chance to reset the franchise.
The Dallas Mavericks had a 1.8% chance to win the #1 pick overall in next month's draft.
1.8% chance of winning, the Mavericks secured the top pick in the 2025 NBA Draft Lottery. While Dallas tried to patch its wounds, Doncic began his new journey in Los Angeles. The spotlight in LA is unlike anywhere else, but Luka seemed unfazed. In his debut with the Lakers, he posted a smooth 14 points in just 24 minutes. He gelled quickly with LeBron James and Austin Reeves, sparking talks of a dynamic new trio that could push deep into the playoffs. But the hype didn't last long. The Lakers bowed out in the first round, eliminated by the red-hot Minnesota Timberwolves. Luka's stats were strong: 30.2 points, 7 rebounds, and 5.8 assists per game in the playoffs, but it wasn't enough. And for critics, the numbers didn't tell the full story. Enter Al Harrington, former NBA forward and now outspoken analyst. In a postseason discussion, Harrington raised eyebrows when he suggested that Luka simply couldn't maintain peak performance across an entire season. "My concern is always, at the end of the season, he kind of flames out," Harrington said. "It's a long grind, and if you're not taking care of your body throughout, the playoffs become too intense." It wasn't the first time Luka's conditioning had come into question. Despite his immense talent, whispers around his late-season fatigue have followed him for years. With Harrington's comments gaining traction, the Lakers responded in a serious way. They put out a listing for a new head strength and conditioning coach, offering up to $250,000 to revamp their fitness program. Insiders believe this move is directly linked to maximizing Doncic's endurance and keeping their new superstar in top form. The Lakers have posted a job ad looking for the title of head strength and conditioning coach, which will pay up to $250,000. As Doncic enters his first full season with the Lakers, the pressure is immense. LeBron James isn't getting any younger, and LA's window for contention isn't wide open. Doncic was brought in to extend that window, to carry the torch once LeBron steps aside. But before he can claim that throne, he needs to prove that he can finish strong, not just start hot. Meanwhile, the Mavericks are betting everything on the future. Cooper Flagg, hailed as a generational talent, represents their best shot at redemption. Paired with a hopefully recovered Kyrie Irving and a healthy supporting cast, Dallas could rise from the ashes faster than expected. But the ghost of Luka Doncic will linger. Every game he plays in purple and gold will be a reminder of what Dallas gave up. What makes this saga even more compelling is how sudden everything felt. There were no warning signs, no leaks, no cryptic tweets, just a bombshell deal and a deafening silence from Doncic himself. He didn't hold a press conference. He didn't post a farewell message. The trade happened, and he vanished into the Lakers system. That kind of move either speaks to heartbreak or to a man ready to turn the page. Speaking for the first time on Monday, AWST, Doncic addressed his former team's fans directly in a social media post that started, "Dear Dallas, in good times and bad, from injuries to the NBA Finals, your support never changed." For the NBA as a whole, this trade was a wake-up call. It reminded everyone that no one is untouchable. Loyalty only goes as far as wins and losses. And in the ever-evolving world of basketball super teams, even the most stable foundations can crumble overnight. Doncic's journey in LA is just beginning, but already the stakes are sky high. He's expected to bring championships, elevate teammates, and redefine the Lakers' post-LeBron era. But lurking in the shadows are questions about his health, his leadership, and his will to go the distance. Back in Dallas, fans watch with a mix of bitterness and hope. They've seen their hero leave, their season implode, and their future dangle on the potential of a teenager. It's a lot to process, but this is the NBA, where fortunes flip in an instant and legacies are built on how you bounce back. For Jason Kidd, this chapter might define his coaching legacy. He navigated the trade, the backlash, and now the rebuild. Whether he was part of the decision or a bystander, his ability to lead this new version of the Mavericks will be under a microscope. As for Luka, the road ahead is filled with both promise and pressure. He's no longer the underdog wonder kid from Slovenia. He's a superstar in the most scrutinized market in sports. Every step he takes, every shot he misses, every fourth-quarter fade will be dissected. But if there's one thing we've learned from this saga, it's that Luka Doncic doesn't play by the rules. He rewrites them. If you thought this trade was wild, just wait. More behind-the-scenes stories are coming. Hit that like button, subscribe for the next twist in the saga, and let me know in the comments. Was this the worst trade in Mavericks history, or a blessing in disguise? LeBron just admitted something fans never expected. This might explain everything that went wrong with the Lakers, and what he said about his injury could change how you see this whole season. After a disappointing 5-game series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, LeBron sat down on the Mind the Game podcast and made something very clear. This loss wasn't about effort, and it wasn't about bad luck. It was about matchups.
It's the matchups, and we ran into a damn good matchup, a team that's been battle-tested, a team that's hungry, a team that a lot of youth, but also experience at the same time, and another team that's trying to make the next step. And you know, they were a worthy opponent, that's for sure.
Coming from a 4-time NBA champion with 22 seasons under his belt, those words carry weight. The Lakers came into the playoffs as the 3rd seed. Expectations were high, maybe too high, but as the games played out, it became clear that something just wasn't clicking. One of the biggest moves of the season, and one that now faces heavy scrutiny, was the mid-season trade that brought Luka Doncic to Los Angeles. The Lakers gave up Anthony Davis and Max Christie to get him, a blockbuster deal that had fans stunned. At first, the trade seemed brilliant. Two of the league's most skilled offensive players, LeBron and Luka, sharing the floor. That sounded like a nightmare for any opponent. But beneath the hype was a dangerous hole in the Lakers lineup. They had no one left to protect the paint. With Davis gone, and after rescinding their trade for Mark Williams, the Lakers were left exposed down low. Jackson Hayes couldn't hold the line, and coach J.J. Redick eventually benched him altogether. The result, Rudy Gobert and the Timberwolves ran wild in the paint, dominating Game 5 and sealing the Lakers' fate. To make matters worse, both of the Lakers' stars were struggling. Luka was dealing with a lingering back injury and had battled illness throughout the series. LeBron, meanwhile, was trying to power through something even more serious, a knee injury he'd kept mostly quiet.
First, how's the knee?
Oh, man, this is my first, in my 22-year career, this is my first knee injury.
Right.
You know, I've had, the regular tendonitis and the patella, all that stuff, but this is the first time I've ever had a sustained knee injury where I had to okay, you got to get off your feet. You got to kind of be shelved for a minute. And
in the same podcast interview, LeBron revealed that he suffered a grade 2 MCL sprain during the fourth quarter of Game 5. I knew as soon as the impact happened with me and Dante DiVincenzo, I felt it right away, he said. My knee locked up. That's why I stayed on the ground for a minute. I was trying to see if the knee would kind of release a little bit. But I knew right then and there that was a pain I hadn't felt before. The injury would have sidelined him for 4 to 6 weeks. Even if the Lakers had pulled off a win, LeBron says he wouldn't have been able to play in Games 6 or 7. That revelation hit hard for fans who had been hoping for a miracle comeback. It also shed light on just how thin the Lakers were stretched. With no Davis, an injured LeBron, and a hobbled Luka, the team was fighting an uphill battle from the start. Coach J.J. Redick, in his first season on the job, now faces a wave of questions. Could he have managed rotations better? Was benching Hayes the right call? Why didn't the front office secure a backup center after the Doncic trade? Redick's decisions are under the microscope, but LeBron isn't pointing fingers. In fact, he backed his coach publicly. Teams win championships, he said. It's a simple statement, but one that says a lot. LeBron seems to be putting the responsibility on the collective. Not just the coach, not just the stars, and not just the front office. Still, the finger-pointing has already begun online. Some blame Luka for not being at full strength. Others question LeBron's leadership and his decision to support the Doncic trade. And many are furious with the front office for gambling on offense at the expense of size and defense. The Timberwolves, to their credit, played a near-flawless series. Anthony Edwards stepped up, Gobert controlled the paint, and the team's speed and athleticism made life miserable for the Lakers. They were young, energetic, and clearly motivated to prove themselves. And that's exactly what they did. As for the Lakers, the future is now filled with question marks. LeBron's contract gives him an option to leave this summer, and retirement rumors are louder than ever. He ended the season averaging 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists on over 51% shooting. Numbers that most players would kill for. But at 40 years old, every season takes a heavier toll. James continues to defy the odds at age 40, averaging 24.4 points, 8.2 assists, and 7.8 rebounds on .513 shooting through the end of the fantasy basketball season. He hasn't made any decisions yet, telling fans he'll speak with his family before making any announcements. But make no mistake, the clock is ticking. Meanwhile, Luka Doncic remains one of the league's most gifted offensive players, but conditioning and durability continue to be question marks. If the Lakers are going to build around him, they'll need to reinforce the roster, especially in the front court. And then there's J.J. Redick, a first-time head coach thrown into a high-pressure job with championship expectations and 2 superstar egos to manage. This loss wasn't entirely his fault, but it exposed his inexperience. Whether the Lakers give him another shot or look for someone more seasoned remains to be seen. The front office also has tough decisions ahead. Do they gamble again on a top-heavy roster? Or shift focus toward balance and depth? The Western Conference isn't getting any easier, with rising stars and tough competition across the board. Standing still could mean falling behind. For Lakers fans, the frustration is real. Another season, another early exit. But unlike previous years, this one ends with more doubt than hope. The LeBron era may be nearing its final chapter, and the franchise will need a clear plan moving forward, or risk another painful reset. It's a bitter end to a season that once held so much promise. A superstar duo, a passionate coach, and a franchise that believed it could go all the way. Instead, they're heading into the offseason with more questions than answers. LeBron's words were honest, maybe even sobering. They were a worthy opponent, he said of the Timberwolves, and we ran into a damn good matchup. It's the matchups, and we ran into a damn good matchup, James said, a team that's been battle-tested. Sometimes even legends can't rewrite the script. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive sports stories, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is really to blame for the Lakers' collapse?
Saw in game one, 3-point settling for Boston. Three, Brunson, no. Robinson.
And I was hoping I would get carried to the finals again, just like last year. But I went from Jason Tatum to Jason Breakham tonight.
Jason Tatum had the game in his hands, then lost it. One play, one collapse, and what he did after left everyone stunned. Even crazier. A fire alarm at TD Garden forced an evacuation. No post-game interview, no answers. Tatum just disappeared. After 2 straight blown leads, Celtics fans aren't just angry, they're stunned. Because whatever this is, it's not the Jason Tatum they thought they knew. The Knicks pulled off a second straight comeback win, 91-90, taking a shocking 2-0 lead in the series. But this wasn't just about the scoreboard. It was about the body language, the collapse, and the fact that one of the league's top stars, Tatum, couldn't deliver when it mattered most. Then came the moment no one saw coming. Right after the game, TD Garden's fire alarm went off. A real emergency evacuation. Media was forced out, fans were rushed out, and Tatum, he didn't speak to reporters. It was a bizarre twist to an already strange night. The franchise star, under pressure, vanished into the chaos. A fire alarm was triggered at TD Garden in the aftermath of the New York Knicks' 91-90 playoff victory over the Boston Celtics on Wednesday night, causing a brief evacuation. Let's rewind. The Celtics looked dominant through 3 quarters. Jaylen Brown and Derek White both scored 20. Porzingis, back from illness, gave them key minutes. The ball was moving. The Garden was loud. They were up by 20 with just over a quarter to play. And then it all unraveled. New York took over. Mikal Bridges, scoreless through 3 quarters, exploded for 14 points in the fourth. Josh Hart led all scorers with 23. Karl Anthony Towns was a force with 21 points and 17 rebounds. And Jalen Brunson hit clutch free throws with 12.7 seconds left. Josh Hart finished with a game-high 23 points for the Knicks, while Karl Anthony Towns had 21 points and 17 rebounds. Still, Boston had a chance. Down just 1 in the final seconds, the ball went to Tatum. Everyone expected a hero moment. Instead, Bridges stripped him. Game over. That play, Tatum losing the ball at home with the game on the line, became the defining image of the night. After the game, head coach Joe Mazzulla said, "We didn't execute. We lost our focus." But fans weren't just upset about missed shots. They were upset about the energy, the fight, the fact that their star player looked rattled. This is Jason Tatum we're talking about, a top 5 scorer, an all-NBA talent, the guy who dropped 51 in Game 7 against the Sixers last year. But across Games 1 and 2 of this series, he's shooting 12 for 42. The numbers tell a tough story, but the eye test tells something worse. Tatum's not just missing shots. He looks uncomfortable, hesitant, even passive. It's easy to blame one guy, especially when he's the face of the franchise. But Celtics fans know this team goes as Tatum goes, and right now he's going the wrong way. So why the collapse? Part of it is New York. The Knicks have been relentless. They play tough, physical defense. They crash the boards. They make you work for everything. But Boston has the talent to handle that. They just haven't shown the composure.
I thought I was Kobe on that last shot. He always told me to keep shooting, even if there are 3 players guarding you. So that's what I did.
In both games, the Celtics built big leads, only to blow them with careless turnovers, poor shot selection, and a lack of urgency in the fourth quarter. That brings us back to the fire alarm. It happened minutes after the game ended. Alarms blaring, people rushing out, no press conferences, no post-game quotes from Tatum, just silence and chaos. And in some ways, that's a metaphor for this Celtics team right now. Panic under pressure. Game 3 is set for Saturday at Madison Square Garden. It's a must-win. No team has come back from 0-3 in a playoff series, so this is it. Boston has to respond. Tatum has to respond. He's been here before. He's bounced back before. But the pressure has never been this loud.